Yeah, that had nothing to do with anything. I was just jamming. So earlier this year, about April 2016 or so, I did a video about effects loops and about why you would want to use an effects loop. But I did have a problem with it, and I had some comments where people were asking me how I hooked it up. I guess I didn't show that well, so I want to do a very quick video, well, quick for me anyways, about just how to hook it up. So if you know how to hook up an effects loop and you understand all that stuff, just keep going. So the video I'm talking about is linked right there. So like if you don't know what I'm talking about, click on that video. So let me show you what I have. I am playing, right now I have the Euphoria and the tape echo on. The quick version is generally you want delays after any sort of distortion. So if you're using the amp's distortion, then you generally want to run the delay pedal, reverb pedal, chorus pedals usually, in an effects loop. And everything else you want to run to the input. So let me show you exactly what I mean by that. Okay, so right now I am going from the guitar. You see this gigantic mess of cables that goes into the tuner, then it goes into the Euphoria and to the tape echo, and it goes out, and then it goes all the way into the input of the amp. Now on this particular amp, it has a preamp out and it has a power amp in. The preamp out, let's call that send. Let's call the power amp in receive. So if we want to run the delay in a loop, we're going to take a cable from here, the preamp out. We're going to attach it into the input of the delay pedal. And then we're going to take the output of the delay pedal and then run that cable all the way into the power amp in, okay? Now, we have an overdrive pedal, right? So our overdrive pedal, our guitar, is still going to connect right like this. And then the output of this dirt pedal, we're going to go from that into the input of the amp. So you're going to have 4 cables going to and from your amp. Well, actually, cable from your guitar into that, then from the dirt pedal to the input of the amp, from the effects loop, preamp out or send on some amps, that's going into the input of this, of your delay or your reverb or both. Output of that is going into the effects return, or in this case of this Fender amp, power amp in. Okay? Make sense? Now take this Marshall for example. What model is this? This is a DSL 100H. This particular model has an effects loop, return, and send. So that, like I said, some amps call it different, like that crazy Fender amp that they decided to do that on. This one you can actually turn off the effects loop, so it basically bypasses it. But generally what you're going to find is an effects return, an effects send. So in this case, the send would go, actually have a Strymon, it's hooked up to right now. So the send goes down into the input of the Strymon, or in this case anyways, and then the output of this Strymon goes into the return of the amp. So that's basically how it's done. And if I have my guitar plugged into it, it would simply go into the input of that amp right there. So it's that easy. So hopefully that clears everything up. I know in the last video I did back in April about effects loops, I didn't really explain the routing too well, so my apologies. I hope this video makes up for it. If you have any questions, comments, make sure you comment below, and see you next week.